It was wonderful once again to listen to Sri Hota. I will not talk about what has happened already. All the speakers have very nicely captured the past. And as Sri Mishra has said, I have to talk about the future. So that is extremely difficult. So I just want to put 5 points, which might give us an insight about organizations like NPCI, as well as organizations of like what Mr. Mishra is leading. One is about men versus women. Despite the growth of financial literacy and digital literacy, the disparity between men and women knowledge base is abysmally low. So one of the most important activities, whether the government or the regulator or the activist or the academician, is to understand this dynamics and improve the literacy, both financial and digital, of these particular important stakeholder, that is the woman. Number one, women versus men. The second is old versus young. It has been seen that in one of the surveys, about age 30, less than 35% people are aware of the financial literacy. Whereas age greater than 45, very small percentage are either using and aware. So you cannot ignore people above 50. Now, in fact, the age, the lifeline of India, or I don't know what is that called, life expectation has also gone up. People of my generation are going to live up to 120 years. I'm in 50. So therefore, you cannot ignore that chunk of population, even if the literacy among the younger generation is high. An exclusive effort to create literacy among the people above 50 is very much essential. My dad could have said, I don't want to use, but I cannot say, Sri Aurobindo Behera cannot say that, even if he's a retired person. He has to understand and use it. Number two. Number three, more challenging, is the illiterate versus literate. Literacy is a big problem. Notwithstanding the big problem of improving literacy, but digital literacy or financial literacy has to keep in mind this divide and has to come out with a solution to address the illiterate part of the society too. Otherwise, a large chunk of the society will be remaining beyond this fantastic innovation which NPCI is doing. Number four is organized versus unorganized businesses. My personal studies and my personal observation to unorganized to a large extent, I observed the business on the street. To a large extent, they are absolutely comfortable with WhatsApp, but financial literacy or digital literacy with respect to finance is once again very low. I think efforts are required to bring in the unorganized business houses into the gamut of financial and digital literacy. Maybe GST will put that pressure. Financial inclusion versus financial capability, which I mentioned today at XIMB. It is not enough. We know that the digital literacy led by Sri Hota and his team is doing fantastic job. But unless we create the supply side, the demand side, they are addressing the supply side. Unless we improve the demand side, which is necessary to increase the financial wealth, it is not possible to make the financial digital literacy a great success in the country. Lots of efforts are required by all people involved in improving not just financial literacy or financial inclusion, but improving the financial capability. So unless we address these issues, or I'll not say unless, but these are the issues which is the future. Technology can take us to a certain level, but unless we address this, technology will remain as a means, not the end by itself. But the last but not the least is the revolution that Mr. Hota is taking forward, is actually leading from front. But we know that this revolution has not just happened overnight. Reserve Bank has also mentioned that 5 C's in their vision document. One particular C where an organization like Sri Mishra's organization and all of us have the responsibility is creating that confidence. Other 5s are coverage, which they are doing already. Convenience, which Mr. Sri Hota's work is actually working towards that, improving convenience. Convergence is happening. Cost is also reducing. But one thing, the confidence is still lacking. Even an organization like Amazon is where if you see, large percentage of the payments of Amazon is by cash by delivery. Just 2 days back, one of the largest suppliers of manufacturer and dealer of a car in Bhubaneswar, when I went to give my fees, he said that we want to take in cash. So that confidence is required. So that is where, again, the organizations, academic and other social organizations have to play. And as I mentioned, the last is the revolution. Revolutions cannot be maybe started by one individual as a group, but revolutions cannot sustain by one individual. They have shown the light. It is onus on us. It is our responsibility to take that push forward, push it further, and take it to a larger. And you just see the past. When the gold was substituted by money, there were protests. When the money is substituted by plastic money, there was a protest. When the plastic money will be substituted by invisible money, there will be protests. History has shown that. So therefore, notwithstanding the limitations of the digital payment, notwithstanding the problems of the digital payment, notwithstanding some nitty-gritties of that, each one of us have to ask. Don't worry what Mr. Hota is doing, what Mr. is doing, what bank is doing. Ask yourself, what percentage of your transactions are doing through digital? Will you try to create a benchmark for yourself that by the end of this year, I'm going to make 50% of my transactions by digital? If you can answer that, then there is a revolution. One person cannot drive that. So I'll end by saying something, a small poem which I found relevant, not written for the digital literacy, but it was mentioned long time back, a very old poem, We Alone. But that was again about gold, but applicable today also. It's by Alice Walker. We alone can devalue gold by not caring if it falls or if it rises in the marketplace. Wherever there is gold, there is a chain, you know. And if your chain is gold, so much the worse for you. Just remove gold and think about money. The more cash you have, the more problem you have. Maybe digital literacy, digital world, digital payment is a direction where the hoarding of cash may increase. Thank you very much.